Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to more Path of Exile 2. Now, I did not try a Huntress, and I kind of wanted to try one, so I've just gone and made a new character. Now, I mentioned this prior that I don't dislike the game, but I always found it just I found it different in such a way that there is I don't know. It just feels like there wasn't enough information in like the character sheet. Like in here, you see your block chance, evasion, etc., and so on. But things like where's your it shows your armor, your physical damage reduction, but where does it show like higher ailment threshold? Shows your resistances. Shows weapon swap time, but it doesn't show like your stun resistance or anything like that. And that's where I have the confusion come in. It's like that should be in there, but that's me. That was a gripe I made ages ago. So I'm not gonna go down that road again. I do like the game though. Like I like how it plays. I like how it looks, and I mean, I'm waiting for them to bring out more and more and more stuff, which, don't get me wrong, that shouldn't be there. That should be, right there. That way I can, see if you parry in time, you could just kind of like, that. And see, that's cool. I've always loved that like active blocking after active parry system. I think more games need to have that, specifically more action RPGs. Now, all the cards have not been released yet in Hearthstone, and I'm still waiting to do that. Mostly because I want to set it in such a way, or I want to get it in such a way, I should say, where I have to set it up on my OBS over here on this monitor, where I can have the three separate things. I'm going to have like a tier list here. I'll set it up. I'll set up a scene after I'm done recording this video. I'll set up a scene where it's, you're going to have the tier list here. You're going to have a thing down there. I'm going to be running two tier lists when I do, a card. When I do the card thing. Whenever I do like a card reveal or anything like that. And it's going to be, when it comes to an expansion, not like a mini set, but when it comes to an expansion, like what class is going to want, for example, what class is going to, is going to want to be played the most. Because it's obviously going to change once the game comes out. Like right now, Hunter, not a lot of people play Hunter in standard Hearthstone. Because there's, I think, a couple iterations. You have like Hand Hunter and like one other. And if you're not playing those two iterations, then it just doesn't seem like it works well for them. There are a few. I mean, the other day I played against a quest hunter, and I'm not talking like Shock the Jungle Tyrant either. I'm talking the other quest, the not so well played quest, which is the Journey to the End of Time or whatever, where you have to draw until until your hand is full, and then empty your hand, and then you get Tick and Tock. So I played against that. And, matter of fact, I think that was in my Rainbow DK deck that I built. And I think I lost, but nevertheless, I think that Hunter's going to be in a very strong spot afterward, because you're going to see like the resurgence of Dragon Hunter. You might even be able to see Colossal Hunter make a play to be valid. And that's kind of what I'm going to do, is like which class like had the best showcase, so to speak, for Hearthstone. So I'm going to do a tier list of what class had the best showcase, as well as a tier list of the cards of where I think they're playable. Now I need to find obviously a tier list that has all the cards on it, but when I do, now what do I want to put into evasion rating? I mean, I could go tanky. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go like tanky Huntress. But I want to do that sort of tier rating because I think that there's people are missing some spots when they see a collection like in an expansion, right? They take a look at it from the perspective of like there is the class cards, and then everybody's got blinders on, and they're not realizing, wait, that pairs with, say, the previous expansion or the previous two, and they don't see the synergies there. It's not everybody that doesn't see the synergies there, but I've heard a lot of opinions, so to speak. I rolled. Ah. I'm gonna get him. I got him. There we go. So, what I meant was, I got a little distracted fighting the boss there. Yeah, it's a low level boss, but, you know, hey, sometimes when you get distracted and you're not paying attention, you could easily get destroyed, so. Extra evasion with fire resist? Yeah, let's go with that. Like, one of the cards that I saw is called Schism, right? And Schism is a 4-mana priest card, and it shatters when you draw it. So, or if you conjure it from Imbue. So if you conjure it from Imbue, or you draw it directly from your deck, or if you discover it via, say, Elise, the Elise location, right? Or if you discover it from even rewind time there, the Sands of Time card. So in any way that you discover the card or generate the card, it will shatter into two pieces and split off to either side of your hand, right? Now when it does that, let me go here. Make sure I don't have... Oops. Making sure I don't have, like, verbal... That's interface. Cursor, chat font size. Okay, there's no... Okay, got it. Anyway, the card shatters into two. One splits up to the left-hand side, one splits up to the right-hand side. Now, Schism says you either get +2, +3, and elusive, or you get summon a copy. of a minion. Now, when you summon a copy of a minion, and it's for 4 mana, right? And it's a shadow spell, and that does matter. Because if you think about it, your quest for Priest says play 4 shadow spells, play 4 holy spells, get Solitos, right? The problem that most people aren't realizing or they're not looking at is nobody sees the potential of having that split into 2 shadow spells, each costing 4. Are you happy paying 4 to get +2/+3 in elusive? Not really. Right? It's not exactly the thing you want to see. Do I really want more whirlwinds? Oh, what do I want? Explosion spear. Pierces all targets. Maybe. I'm going to go with the explosive spear. Why not? Actually, we're going to put that in W. That way I could cast it more often. Now, you're not exactly the happiest when you're, like, playing a spell that says, effectively, you know, pay 4 mana, give a minion +2/+3, and elusive. Now, elusive means it can't be targeted by hero powers or spells. That's not the reason you play it. You want the other one. You can summon a copy. Because once you get Solitos finished, you can summon a copy of it for 4. And that's quite massive, to be honest with you. Because most people don't play Solitos or Quest Priest. And the reason why they don't play Solitos Quest Beacon is because to them, Quest Priest seems like it's a waste of time. Which, to me, it doesn't. Like, you know, if you're playing Control Priest and you have the quest in there, it's always a good thing. Because then you're talking about having a creature that is an 8/8 taunt, reborn, death rattle, summon a copy of it, and the death rattles do, you know, 5 damage to random targets. Ow. If you think about it, you put a third 8/8 on the board for 4 mana. Because it's quite difficult for an enemy to clear 8 health worth of minions. 9 if you count the reborn. Because if you look at it, they're, you're talking about 9 health times 2, that's 18 health. And it's taunt, so they have to trade into it. they can't just not trade into it. They have to quite literally attack it. So there we go. I don't have anything. I grab the cold resist. But even after they trade in, what happens? They inevitably get dunked on because now they have another problem, which is they have to worry about you having, they have to worry about it clearing the board, right? They kill the first one, it does 5 damage to something else, so you're potentially clearing the board. But back to Schism. Schism's a great card for this strategy because let's say you finish Solitos beforehand, right? If you finish Solitos beforehand, you can then Schism so that it can't be targeted by spells or abilities. Spells or hero powers, right? That makes that kind of obscene for a card. And then you pair with that the fact that you just have threats on board, right? And then you could copy one later if you want. Nevertheless, Rarin, who's a content creator for Hearthstone, he does YouTube content as well as other he does YouTube content as well as streaming. He didn't care for Schism. He said the card was too expensive and it wasn't that good. He's like, when you get it together, obviously it's a crazy card when it reforms and you can get both effects for 4 mana. And I'm sitting there going, it's like, brother, you're not playing Control Priest. If you're playing Control Priest, you're not having an issue getting both of those cards and playing them each. It's like... because you can play both of those cards for 4 mana each, and it doesn't really matter. But I will be, like I said, I will be doing like a complete tier list on the cards. And I know that a lot of people on the channel watch a whole bunch of different stuff on the channel now. There's some people that like the Minecraft Woodless run. There are some people that like other stuff that I'm doing. I mean, a lot of people seem to like the card reveals and, the takes on them. So, it's kind of all over the place. That's kind of the idea, though, of a variety channel. In other news, at the Pokemon Direct, I was not a fan of what they did at Pokemon Direct. Oh, Fire Red and Leaf Green is relaunching. And when it relaunches, you can, buy it all over again. And I'm sitting there going, but I don't want to buy it all over again. So I'm not going to, right? However, I sat there, and as I was looking at the their the Pokemon Direct thing that they did, the first thing I thought was, all I care about is the, what is it? Shift click, alt click, control click. There we go. All I cared about was Pokemon Champions. And, like, when does it come out? Well, I found out. It comes out in April. And with it coming out in April, I'm not too against it at all. I mean, quite literally. Reason being is, I think it's going to be a perfectly decent game. I mean, they're using it, not to sound like that guy, but they're going to be using it for their entire competitive game, like for the entire competitive metagame. And so, knowing that, and knowing that I'm quite the fan of the series, just because of the whole competitive game. 90 life over 5 seconds. 71 over 3. Consumes 8. Consumes 8. Gets more recovery when used on low life. We'll just get rid of it. Probably a bad idea, but I like the rate is quicker on this one, right? Because you're getting 71 life over 3, whereas you're getting the other ones is a higher rate, but you're getting it over 5. So the potential that you could just outright die is worse, or is higher, I should say. That grants Ree's shield. That's not a bad crossbow. I might just throw that on when I get there. But as I was saying earlier about about liking competitive battling, so to me, it's more along the lines of, I can use this to make content, and I'm probably going to do that on the channel. The issue I'm going to have is, I'm going to have to find a way to either improve improve my teams in such a way that I'm ready for it, because I do want to make an earnest attempt and not just troll. Are these guys blind because of the debuff? Did that blind them? It does blind them. 20% less accuracy. Okay, so now I can see the draw for having Whirling Slash. You want to draw them. Ow. You want to draw them in, and then you want to draw them into the Whirling Slash. There we go. But between Hearthstone and the actual Pokemon meta, battling in the meta, and I will do kind of like a almost like a how-to of it's like a beginner's guide. That's the word I'm looking for. A beginner's guide to the competitive metagame. I know it sounds terrible, like, why on earth would you do that? Nobody's going to care. Well, some people do. Some people want to learn about it. It's like when I did the whole how hard is it or how easy is it to get into Hearthstone. Yeah, we're going to go the evasion route. The harder I am to hit, the harder I am to kill. That's one way to do it. Whoa. It's an interesting combo. I like it. Wow. Yeah, I really like that combo. That's nice. Like I've had friends and other people say that they wanted to get into like competitive Pokemon, but they thought it was going to be more difficult than it was. And I said, in all honesty, getting into the actual games is not that hard. And you can recruit them in Pokemon Champions as well. So even if you don't have a team, you might be able to recruit a team that can be incredibly good or incredibly useful. But we'll see. I mean, I'll play it by ear when that comes out. I hope people are keen on hearing it, or hearing about it, and wanting to see it. I really do, because to me, that's the one thing that where a metagame kind of saved, as much as I hate to say metagames save anything, a metagame actually saved the Pokemon franchise. Right? So the people that play it for competitive battling and the people that do it for competitive metagame like that effectively saved the like the franchise itself, the mainstream, like the not mainstream, but the main series games franchise from going under. And I credit the majority of that to a guy who went by the moniker Dysfunction. He was a competitive battler quite some time ago, and I don't know if he still does it. I mean, no, you don't. I love the explosive spear. It's fun. Wow. That's, Murder and evasion. Ooh, life regen. Probably not a good idea to do that, but whatever. So let's see here. Lesser life mask. Charges gain, no. Gillen's staff of absorption. And I'm out of that stuff. But no, game's causing my eyes to burn. Oh, not that. Yeah, I like that. I don't care about those. I mean, that's one of the things that I did enjoy about the Pokemon game, and I'm gonna go further into it here in a second. I'm gonna be calling it a day here on this in a second. But the one thing I did like about it, right, is Pokemon has this weird way of introducing a turn-based combat system. Because back in the day, you had the old style turn-based combat system, right, where you didn't have type advantages, type disadvantages. You didn't have any of that, and we're talking like Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, the typical JRPGs of the day. And this one was your party members weren't all there at the same time, but they're like, the next guy's up right behind you, right? So it kind of revolutionized it in that way. But then when the metagame kicked in like Fire Red and Leaf Green, and Dysfunction was the one that kind of showed everybody that, hey, effort values exist, and you can train things in specific ways to be better than what they're doing. That kind of gave a resurgence to the game because everybody's like, wait, they're just remaking Red and Green. That's Fire Red and Leaf. Actually, it was with Ruby and Sapphire that they brought it out. They brought out effort values in earnest and really told people about them and really had a thing dedicated to them. Ruby and Sapphire was like the first step into that. And then when they brought out Fire Red and Leaf Green, it just kept expanding and expanding. And then the connectivity happened with the internet, and now it's you can just queue up against people over the internet at any time. And Pokemon Coliseum didn't really do that as much as Pokemon Battle Revolution. Pokemon Battle Revolution quite literally revolutionized it, because it was just import everything to your GameCube, not GameCube. Was it? Yeah, it was GameCube. Port everything to your GameCube via the connector, upload it, queue online against randos. And it kind of took off, and now you actually have VGC competitions where people can go. One of the dudes was like a retiree. He was a pensioner, and he was playing Pokemon, and he wanted to give... They didn't want to give out money at these tournaments, right? Because Nintendo thought it was a bad idea, because then it's like gambling. So they were giving out scholarships. Well, the 60-year-old pensioner dude was like, what am I going to do with a scholarship? Can I transfer it to my grandson? And they said, no, you can't. It's not transferable. He's like, well, can I cash it in for a cash prize? They said, no, you can't. It's not. And he goes, well, what do I get out of it? They said, well, it's a scholarship. So they went back and forth, and they went to this. They discussed it, and they said, fine, you can transfer it to your grandson. It can be given to him, so there's the scholarship. From that point on, to clear up that debacle, they now just give out cash prizes for when you win. And they have a VGC every year. They have a World's Champion every year. And the championship is really cool. So they have one for the trading card game. They have one for the actual video game, which that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying out for it here in April, starting in earnest. And I'm going to really try. Another thing I'm going to really try to do is I'm going to try to make Legend in Hearthstone. The highest I've ever made is Diamond 5. but I don't want to make Legend with just a meta deck. I'm going to make it with a homebrew control deck. Probably in the next expansion, it's probably going to be either Death Knight, Warrior, or Priest. We'll see. So those two things are slated to start up soon, because the next, I believe they said the Hearthstone patch that's coming is going to be Whirling Slash. That's the one I like, the Circular Slash. Alright, we're going to engrave Bleed on it. That way I can make him bleed. And we're going to make it level 2. Because I like it a lot. But yeah, I'm going to try it in earnest, truthfully, to try to get to, Legend, and to try to make it to a higher spot in Hearthstone. Wait, level 6. What level am I? Well, that's not it. 4. Alright, I might have that crossbow on as my secondary item. Even though that's not generally what they do for a Huntress. But, we'll see about that. Gamble, huh? You know what? We're going to do one more. Fire and Dexterity. One more. I make that level 3? It does. I like it. I mean, he does less damage than that, but whatever. Ugh. Grant skill, Spirit Throw. 1 level of all melee skills, 2 mana. Ooh, that's even better. Alright, there we go. But yeah, I'm going to wait until the new expansion before I'm going to make that Legend climb. And I'm also going to... I'm going to try to hammer out a decent Pokemon team. I may use the website. What's that called? Pokemon... I forgot what it was called. It's an online battling website. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, I might do that to hammer out a team. I'm going to have to talk to one of my friends, because I got him back into the metagame, and that's kind of what saved Pokemon, like I was saying. I got him into the metagame way back in the day, and now he's never really seen a purpose to continue playing the metagame. It's like, well, wait a minute. With Pokemon Champions out there, it's going to open up the field to having everything available. So now we can start building some more fun teams. And I'm going to see if I'm going to get into a chat with him and see how that goes. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I know my talks weren't really related about Path of Exile. I do love the game. I really do. I still think that there needs to be a little bit more information here on things like stun resistance, thresholds, and everything like that. But other than that, I still think it's a good game, and I'm waiting to see it on full release. I do enjoy it. I really do. But I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.